Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here and welcome back to another crypto video, and we just got ourselves some very interesting insights. Take a look at this. The US SEC flags crypto on top of the list for 2023. Now, for all of you that do not know what the SEC is specifically about the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, and they handle everything related to, well, securities and exchanges. And yesterday, they announced a little bit of a list, or more importantly, they announced a couple of different topics that they were going to be looking into. And if you're in the crypto space for a little while, you already know the SEC has a little bit of a reputation of not being the best when it comes to crypto. I'm talking about the fact that they go after crypto projects which don't deserve to be going after. But then on the opposite side, they kind of were lacking on many fronts, like for example, going after FTX and so forth and so on. But the most important and most well-known case is the case against Ripple, which the majority of us do not think is fair. I digress, however, let's take a look. On Tuesday, the Division of Examinations of the SEC announced the list of topics that are priority for this year. The regulator named crypto assets and other evolving tech as one of the top priorities for the year. In the division's 2023 to-do list, the SEC says that it intends to conduct tests of broker deals and RIAs using financial technologies or other new practices to cope with the demand of compliance and marketing and cater to investors' requirements. Quote, the division will conduct examinations of broker dealers and what we just said. Anyway, sources reveal that the examinations and assessments mentioned in the regulator's lists will focus on whether firms dealing with digital assets are meeting and following their respective standards of care when making recommendations, referrals, or providing investment advice. And that's where I think things are about to get really scary. I'm not talking about just, okay, somebody is saying that he just launched a project and that you should buy it because it's going to go to the moon. If it's his own project, then yeah, I think the US is very strict on all those rules, whatever. I am more so talking about the fact that right now the SEC is going to be looking at many of these different crypto firms, which again is not bad in my opinion, but base them, judge them upon rules which as of this point are not really clear. And that is what I'm afraid of. Again, I am not afraid and not unhappy the SEC is going after bad individuals. I'm kind of worried about why they would go after people that give quote-unquote recommendations or what. But I guess, again, there's a standard for it, and they're looking at who's deviating from it. Whereas I'm thinking go after the big scammers, go after people who are literally stealing money and hurting investors that way, and then have this as a secondary focus, but don't focus on this primarily. But their main focus in any way should be make sure, and that's again what they should write down, make sure everybody understands what is and what is not allowed and go from there. And then enforce the freaking living crap out of it. I'm fine with that, but make sure that everybody understand what the standard would be and go from there. And that's not what they've been doing. Now, they themselves seem to think they have done a good job. In addition, it will also assess whether they continuously review their compliance, disclosure, and risk management practices, which again makes sense for the most part. The Division of Examinations would also focus on ensuring that investment advisors have adhered to the marketing rule implemented last year. Apparently, the marketing rule restricts testimonials and recommendations in promoting investments, and the SEC has pursued high-profile cases related to celebrity endorsements of digital assets, like we've seen with Kim Kardashian and a couple of others. I'm not sure if the SEC went after Floyd Mayweather or not. But similarly, agendas that could apply to firms dealing with digital assets include examinations of the performance of investment advisors, fiduciary duty, and a review of cybersecurity practices by broker-dealers, investment advisors, and other registrants. The fiduciary piece will include whether they properly assess risk, how they perform custody of assets, and how advisors manage conflicts of interest. And that was such a funny one to me. I am not saying there's never a conflict of interest in this space. We've seen it before, even with Coinbase, where one of their employees was insider trading, for example. But on the contrary, I'm thinking, well, a lot of the XRP community members have alleged that guys at the SEC might be having some sort of conflict of interest. And, well, it's been put on a little bit of a low pit. They haven't really been going heads over heels to get to the bottom of that, it seems. So why go through it when, it doesn't include you only? Mr. Gary Gensler, SEC chair, said that the division would protect investors given the involvement markets. Quote, in a time of growing markets, evolving technologies, and new forms of risk. Let me actually show it to you guys. Our Division of Examinations continues to protect investors in executing against the 2023 priorities. The division will ensure compliance with the federal security laws and rules. Sure, but what exactly are they when it comes to crypto projects? That's, again, our major issue. Well, there's been strife between the two major regulators in the U.S. regarding crypto regulation, mostly between the SEC and the CFTC. There's been a little bit of a battle, has been particularly active in the matter. Today, Q News, this website right here, reported in January that the SEC brought a record number of crypto-related enforcement actions last year. We're definitely up to date for that. And figures from 2022 have been about 50% up from 2021. In addition, 2022, SEC had about 30 crypto-related enforcement actions, close to 2020, when it brought 29 such actions. And the firm stated that the most common allegations among these actions were fraud and unregistered securities, of which I would say, hey, if you can or are able to do so many of these unregistered securities type of lawsuits, why not make sure that people really have it clear that this cannot be done? So the SEC has a open and shut case, or really they don't even have to go for a case because, it's like clear that it's been lost from the get-go, right? I mean it like this. If the SEC were to go through a rulemaking process, and it would be almost, if they went through that, it would be nearly impossible for anybody to ever win an unregistered security case or even fight it because, well, it would just be a simple, here's the rules, here's exactly what you did, which is the opposite of what is allowed, jail, or no, mostly just a fine. But now it's kind of difficult because, well, you're not really sure if what you're doing is allowed, and the SEC will not really tell you. We're seeing that in the form of the fact that Coinbase, even right now, is having difficulty knowing what they can and cannot list on the exchange. We're finding difficulty with Ripple knowing whether or not they're in the right or wrong. We, as a community, don't even know if secondary crypto are always going to be fine, or if sometimes those are securities too. And what exactly is the security when it comes to crypto markets? It's all based upon the Howey test from like 1930, but things are a lot different in the last 100 years. But again, cases are settling, yet we're getting some sort of legal precedent, but not a baseline for rules based on the rule book. No, we're getting some sort of, okay, in this legal case, this was said, in this legal case, this was said, so we're going to take that as new standard. But it's kind of hard to just pickpocket or pinpoint, all these different points from different pieces of cases and then see whether or not what you're doing is right or wrong. It's just not that simple. Anyway, I still don't think the SEC is doing a really good job, and it's peculiar to me. They're putting crypto on the top of their list. It's kind of funny that, crypto on a lot of lists has gone down. For example, it's not allowed anymore on the US Super Bowl. And I do wonder exactly what this is going to mean. Do they mean they're going to put it on top of the list for making rules for it, or just going after more enforcement actions than ever before? I wonder if they will ever learn, but I guess not. Anyway, that was it for today's crypto little update. I'll have more crypto videos coming out. It's just a little update on the US SEC because I thought it was interesting, and I'll see you guys again in another crypto video later. Take care.